And joining us right now, as he does every Friday, is Scott Franzke, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Big task for Scott today. He's going to have to make us feel better about the Phillies. What's up, Scott?
Yeah.
Do I have a chance?
Maybe.
Yeah, we do. Well, Scott, you always got a chance with me. I don't know about Kyle, because Kyle's,
Kyle's tough to sway.
Yeah. But speaking of that, and I know it's early, and I try to tell Kyle that every day, but I'm checking your temperature. How long do we have to deal with this little bit of valley that we're in before we get out of this, in your opinion?
Don't know. I mean, I'd like to think it'll start turning around now. I mean, I saw a team that, looked like they're lacking confidence head-to-head against the Mets right now. And Mets were playing with a lot of confidence right now. And, it just felt like every deficit felt like a pretty big hill to climb. Maybe that's partly the fan in me, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the guys aren't feeling that really at all. I mean, I think if you talk to them, to a man, they say everything publicly that you would want to hear. That is, they understand the peaks and valleys and what a long season it is, and they saw it in the other direction last year, of course, right? Things are going great. It was all wine and roses there till about mid-June, and then you start to find your struggles. So I do think I would expect them to play a little bit better. Now, this pitching staff is nowhere near as talented as the Mets pitching staff.
Mm-hmm.
So you would kind of expect a little more action offensively. Although it's cold and the wind's blowing in today, so today might not be the day for it.
All right, Scott, let's talk about the offense, because I think it depends on how you want to look at it, how you perceive moving forward, how they're going to do. Because if you just look at their on-base percentage, their walks, times on base, they've improved, right? They're chasing less, all those things we asked for. But they're also slugging less, and they're not hitting with runners in scoring position. So although they've done some things like the process has been good, they're not scoring enough runs. Scott, how do you view the offense? Do you think, hey, they got the right process, the runs will come, or it doesn't look right and they need to slug more to keep up here with these other teams?
Well, I do think the slug could come and go a little bit, and there's no question they would slug. There's no question in my mind that they will slug more as you get deeper into the summer. I mean, this is a team with a lot of pop and guys who can do that. But they haven't yet, and there's a variety of reasons why. Obviously, every player is individual. I do think that if they, again, we all feel like reaching base on a regular basis more and more often is a good thing. And that's what they're doing. Like you said, we asked them to change their approach a little bit, chase less, and that's a good thing. I think over the long haul that will play out to their benefit. It will lead to runs being scored, and the slug will come. But I do think that controlling the strike zone, fewer strikeouts, more walks is always a good thing for your offense.
Scott Franzke with us here as the Phillies get ready for a series in Chicago against the Cubs here. All right, Scott, let's talk about the bullpen, which has been an issue for the entire season. Now, they've gotten the two lefties have been good. I mean, Alvarado's been really good. Strahm has delivered for them. It's the right-handed guys that have struggled here, and it feels like Topper's trying to mix them and put them in different spots, but nothing has stunk. I mean, I guess we could talk about Romano specifically, because the last couple of times he's pitched, he has spoken afterwards about feeling better about his stuff.
Feel good about his stuff. It's just people were hitting.
Yeah, it's getting hit around. That's my issue with it. What do you think about what you're seeing there?
Well, keep in mind, I mean, go back like, Pete Alonso the other day. That's a bad pitch. His good stuff got him in a position where he was up in the count 0-2 on Alonso. He just made a bad pitch. Now, what again? Is that because is that a repeatability, consistency, ability sort of thing, or is that he's going to get better with that as the season goes on? He's been out. He was out for almost a year. I mean, he basically didn't pitch last year. So I think we could expect that there would be some growing pains, and I think he's already dealt with a few different issues, right? A little mechanical tweak, that the velocity is there now, and it's a consistent velocity. That's important for him. And I think, working on a few other things, whether he might have been tipping pitches last weekend and, against Miami, I think that's a definite possibility. I think we'd know better if they see the Marlins again. You know what I mean? But it felt like they had something on him. The same thing with Kerkering. I think, the night before against Terens, the catcher, it was just a bad 0-2 pitch. It's poor execution in that spot. And, I think the stuff is there, but they're going to have to prove that they can throw it better consistently. And they can't make those pitches 0-2. It's just that those are just crushers, right? You get a guy down in the count like that, you can't lose that battle. I know you lose every now and then, but it's happening way too often. And there's no question, if they don't figure it out, it's going to be tough on that bullpen. It will be tough if they can't get those two right-handers who they expect to be 7th, 8th, 9th inning type guys. Those two you mentioned specifically, Kerkering and Romano, they have to figure that out.
Yeah, they do. And right now there's not, much help on the way. It's still only April for the trade market, or even if they wanted to bring someone up. So those guys got to produce. All right, Scott, let's end with the series that starts this afternoon out at Wrigley Field. And that Cubs team, I thought they were intriguing before the season. I wasn't sure how good they'd be. They might have been better than I thought. They're 16-10. They've been red hot, and they're scoring like 6 runs a game. What do you think about this Cubs team in this series this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna need to do what you can, pitching wise. I mean, their bullpen has problems. There's no doubt about it. They have not been a very good bullpen. They're right there with basically with the Phillies in terms of some of those numbers. They're kind of piecing the starters together right now a little bit, but they can hit, and they're hot right now. So we'll see. Taiwan will be on the mound today. There's obviously a little bit of concern there with what happened to him his last time out, getting tight. I can't say Christopher Sanchez. They said this morning he felt normal. He was going to throw. In fact, that might be starting here in about 15 minutes. He was just going to play catch and see how it goes. But they're hopeful that maybe they dodged a bullet there. But, you're going to have to pitch well, slow these guys down offensively, and you're going to need to score some runs. So we'll see if they can do that.
We shall. Good. That's good news on Sanchez. Hopefully he comes out of that and throwing and feeling well. Scott, we appreciate it. Enjoy Chicago and Wrigley, and we'll be listening this afternoon.
Get you some deep dish pizza, man. Get you some deep dish pizza.
Deep dish right across from the hotel. We'll be there.
All right, there it is.
I'll meet you there.
I wish. I'm on a diet. It's shredding season, Scott. I can't,
Oh, you got to make an exception for deep dish.
I can't,
No?
I can't. I'm too.
All right, I'll meet you there, Scott. It sounds great. Thank you, Scott. We'll talk to you next week. There you go. Scott Franzke out in Chicago with the Phillies.